news begins with President Bola Tinubu hailing the resilience and sacrifices of Nigerians in the past few months, saying it is necessary for economic recovery. In a statement on Friday by his spokesman, Ajurungolali, President Tinubu felicitated with Christians in Nigeria and around the world as they celebrate the Easter season. The leader also called on Christians to imbibe the virtues of love, sacrifice, and compassion associated with the season. The president commiserated and stated that as Christians celebrate the victory of life over death, as exemplified by the resurrection of Christ, he assured all citizens that Nigeria will triumph over its challenges as his administration remains firmly committed to this end. He also stated that Easter, which is an event, commemorates the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead and also symbolizes Christ's victory over sin and death. Meanwhile, the king of Ewu Kingdom, Clement Ikolu, who has been declared wanted by the army over the killing of soldiers, specifically 17 soldiers in Delta State, has surrendered himself to the police. VOP News gathered that Ogene Kurewe, who was detained by the Delta State Police Command, is in the detention of the police connected with the killings. The State Police Commissioner Abaniwanda Olufemi said Ogene Kurewe, who is the Urukpe of Emu Kingdom, turned himself in shortly after the defense headquarters declared him and 7 others wanted. VOP News reports that the military on Thursday declared 8 persons wanted in connection with the killing of 17 soldiers and officers in the Okwama community of Delta State. Among those declared wanted include a professor, Professor Ekpekpo Arthur, a woman, Mrs. Igoli Ebi, Ruben Baru, Akata Malawa David, and 4 other persons. Speaking at a press conference, the Director, Media Defense Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said no bounty was placed on the wanted persons. He called on the stakeholders and traditional rulers across the country, particularly in the Niger Delta, to help the military in fishing out those who had been declared wanted. You'll recall the troops of 181 Amphibious Battalion, Bomadi local government area of Delta State, were surrounded by some youth and killed on Thursday, the 14th of March 2024, while in peace mission to Okwama community. The murdered officers were buried at the National Military Cemetery, Abuja, on Wednesday, and the burial was attended by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other top government functionaries. Elsewhere, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on religious leaders to refrain from vilifying or denigrating the nation in their sermons. The president stated this during Ramadan Iftar with traditional rulers and religious leaders at the State House on Thursday in Abuja. The president emphasized the importance of the role of religious leaders in shaping public opinion and fostering a sense of unity among citizens. He used the opportunity to urge the leaders to be more constructive in their criticism of those in elected positions. President Bola Tinubu declared that his administration is determined to turn Nigeria's challenges into prosperity. The president reiterated that no terrorist can defeat the collective will of Nigerians, no matter how hard they try to prey on innocent citizens. He urged traditional religious leaders to forge a strong bond with the government to defeat terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality in the country. In another development, Governor Ademola Adeleke has been handed a 7-day ultimatum by the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students regarding a 100% hike in school fees at Osun State-owned institutions. Speaking with reporters yesterday, the chairman of NANS in Osun State, Ogungbe Taiwo, declared that during a significant assembly held at the Federal Polytechnic Ede, it was disclosed that the Osun State government had been deceiving students with empty pledges concerning their welfare. Taiwo criticized Governor Adeleke for neglecting student welfare and failing to include students in his government, demanding the reversal of over 100% fee increases in Osun State-owned institutions and expressing disappointment in the lack of palliatives and infrastructure developments. The student body threatened mass mobilization and relocation of their secretary to the governor's office if their demands were not met within 7 days, stressing the need for immediate action to address the deteriorating conditions on campuses and calling on the government to prioritize student concerns. You're currently listening to the World News on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, more news. Welcome back. This is still the World News on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has submitted certified true copies of the Statement of Result and Certificate belonging to Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma before the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja. VOP News gathered that the examination body compiled with the tribunal subpoena to produce and present the document on behalf of Governor Uzodinma. The head of administration at WAEC headquarters, Omifenwa Tajudeen Tubosu, presented the document to the tribunal yesterday. The first document provided by Tubosu was a CTC of Uzodinma Good Hope Odidika's West African Examination Council General Certificate of Education, bearing certificate number SG from June 1982. The second document was a CTC of Uzodinma Good Hope Odidika's confirmation of the Statement of Results, which was initially sent by WAEC to the office of the Senate President on December 18, 2014 and delivered on January 7, 2015. Tumbosu also attested in front of the tribunal that Governor Hope Uzodinma is a rightful owner of the WAEC certificate and verified its authenticity. The tribunal, presided over by Justice Oluyemi Akinton Osadebe, accepted the documents as evidence. The People's Democratic Party and their candidate in the recent Imo State governorship election, Samuel Anyanwu, have argued Uzodinma's victory in the poll. And one of the key points of contention raised by the PDP and Anyanwu is Uzodinma's alleged lack of qualification. They have accused Uzodinma of forging his WAEC certificate. Meanwhile, one of the representatives and veteran Nollywood actor come from a spokesperson of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Kenneth Okonkwo, has asserted that the party's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has no reason to lose sleep over the current crisis rocking the party. VOP News reports that Labour Party has been immersed in a series of crises, from the allegation of theft against the national chairman, Julius Aburi, to a tussle of party ownership with the Nigerian Labour Congress. Speaking in a recent interview with a monitored television program, Okonkwo said the party's crisis would not affect Peter Obi if he decides to run for the presidency again in 2027. According to the Labour Party chieftain, Peter Obi represents a new Nigeria, regardless of any political platform he is contesting on, while recalling how the governor of Anambra State changed the political landscape with the emergence of a third force. Kenneth Okonkwo said politics is about the candidate and not the political party. Again, I actually have via the telephone for a news analysis segment Barrister Darlington, who is a political and social affairs commentator. Barrister Darlington is quite expressive in having to talk about or give a breakdown of issues in the national polity. And here on the World News at 6, he's a constant, or most of the time, we call him actually to give us his perspective, unbiased perspective on some of the issues raised or news read in the World News at 12. Barrister Darlington, good evening, or rather good afternoon, and welcome to the World News at 12.
Good afternoon, Esther. How are you?
I'm fine. Sorry I said good evening. I'm mostly used to doing the 6 p.m. news, and most times I call you at that time. Barrister Darlington, thank you for joining me. It's Good Friday today. I hope you're having a good one.
Yeah, no problem.
Barrister Darlington, let's start off with the Labour Party. Kenneth Okonkwo said yesterday evening on a monitored television program, I'm sure you know the particular interview that usually goes on exclusively on Arise TV in the evening. Well, during that exclusive interview, Kenneth Okonkwo said that Peter Obi should not be bothered by the crisis going on in the Labour Party, that whatever is happening within the Labour Party will definitely not have a dent on his personality come 2027. And according to him, he's actually saying that regardless of the political quagmire within the party, what is important is about Peter Obi. And according to him, he said something that politics is not about the party. it's about the representative, the person who represents the party. Is that true? Do you think that is true? That politics within political parties is about the candidate and not about the political party?
In fact, I don't think Kenneth Okonkwo got it right here.
Okay.
Yes. If you build a political party around a personality, it's very dangerous. Because if anything happens to that personality, what happens to that political party? That is a fact. What I expected him to say is that the P2B should take a stand on what is going on in Labour Party. One of the reasons why Labour Party is having this issue is because they lack a strong leadership. That is why all manner of people will come in and be doing whatever they are doing. In Nigerian politics, it is a peculiar type of politics. If you don't resist evil, it will continue to multiply and it will continue to embarrass you. So, how long will people continue to stay aloof in what is going on in Labour Party? He should build that party. He should take a stand. Because anybody telling him, leave the party, go and form your own. What is the guarantee that these same people will not find a way to come over there and start disturbing him? Since they have seen him to be a gentleman who cannot talk, who cannot take decision, who cannot, shout at people. That is the only problem Labour Party is having. If not, I don't see why the court has ruled that Arabambi and Apapa have no say in that party. Yes, they are parading themselves, conducting things, saying things, bringing their own candidates for election and all that. It looks like the party lacks leadership, seriously. I'm telling you, they should take a stand on certain things. If they continue to stay aloof and continue to behave as if it does not matter, then what is the guarantee that in 2027 they will not do him in? Yes. They will not do him in, and then the embarrassment may be too late to correct. That is a fact. So, telling me it's all about P2B, no, it's all about the party, because it is the party that makes the person. Because right now, there is no independent candidate. So if the party is not organized, how can they go into the battle in 2027? How? How can they? How can they? So P2B should look into what is going on in Labour Party. That is all I can say. All the shenanigans that all manner of characters are displaying is because there is no strong leadership. That's all. That is just all. So if P2B cannot take a stand now and then, be very, very, vehement in confronting this evil in that party, how can he confront the bigger problem of Nigeria if he eventually becomes a president? Because people will use it against him, that he could not organize a political party. How can he organize Nigeria? They will use it against him. And I've given examples on several fora where this, what's his name, Abacha's son, Mohammed, wanted to contest the governorship in Kano State under APC. APC leadership came and said, no, we don't want you. We don't want you, a bad product. You're a bad product. Just because of the name Abacha. Nobody wants to hear that name. They not even ask him not to go. They say you should not even come into the party. And that was it. That was it. So let him look at what is going on around and then change his position on certain things. Because people is a brand. P2B is a brand. Is a brand. So let him not make people think that he's weak. Because the next thing you hear now, people will use it against it. And look at it, you could not even organize a party, a political party. Is in Nigeria that this one who cannot even say a word, who cannot confront the evil in his party, how can he manage Nigeria? And people will be saying, yes, they are right in what they are saying. So let him not give that impression, please. Hello? Hello? Hello, Esther, are you there? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I'm so sorry. I thought you clicked on something which made you not to be able to hear me. The next question I wanted to ask you is concerning Hope Uzodinma. Hope Uzodinma, apparently, you know that the off-season elections, he was declared the winner in Imo State. Samuel Anyanwu and the other, what do you call him, the other representative of the Labour Party as well, they all alleged that Hope Uzodinma did not present true certified copies, that is, his original WAEC certificate. They alleged that the certificate he presented were forged. Now, a lot of critics went ahead to say that that is apparently the mannerism or the true state of things with the All Progressives Congress concerning the whole situation with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the fourth certificate saga. And then, of course, they attributed it with the same thing occurring for Hope Uzodinma. Well, apparently, Hope has presented true certified copies at the tribunal hearing. You know that the off-season elections were marred with a lot of irregularities, and Imo State is not excluded, as we saw a lot of evidence during the election that there were some malpractices that took place in some polling units and in some local government. So, what's your take on that? Having to present his WAEC certificate with the time given, the court his lawyers presented his true certified copy, which indicates that he did not forge his WAEC certificate. But what would have made his opponent believe that his certificates were forged?
It is because of the character of the person. The way Hope Uzodinma won that election in Imo State calls for question. And so his opponents are looking for every means to bring him down. Now that he has presented is the true copy of his certificate, and it is declared original or something. The tribunal will now look at it and then satisfy the curiosity of his opponents, those who took him to court. But that is not what I expected them to challenge. I expected them to challenge how Hope Uzodinma won 27 local governments in Imo State.
All right.
Yeah, they should call for a review of those results. You know, let INEC give them the details of that election so that they can now use it, compare with what their agencies saw in the field. That's what I was expecting them to do. Not this whatever. Maybe somebody just decided to to bring up the certificate issue. You know, they should challenge the outcome of that election because it was marred with a lot of irregularities. Why would they leave it and they are pursuing certificate? APC leaders, have they ever lost in a certificate scandal? Mention any of them that has been disqualified because of certificate scandal. It's not possible. It's not possible.
So let you go finally. Concerning the State Minister of Defense, Bello Matawalle, he distributed food items to some selected bandits terrorizing Zamfara State. Bello Matawalle was the immediate past governor of Zamfara State. Now, an investigation by the Mail News revealed that the distribution started on March 17, 2024, and the distribution targeted the bandits led by the fugitive Ado Aliero. Now, sources from the Mail, while they carried on the investigation, indicate that Mr. Bello Matawalle dispatched 50 bags of rice to Ado Aliero. The delivery was facilitated by Musa Bawa Yankuzo, a former member of the Zamfara State House of Assembly. Now, the Mail source further disclosed that the food items were first stored in the house of one Audu headmaster located at Yankuzo village. Now, during the administration of Bello Matawalle, Ado Aliero was turbaned as a Sarikin Fulani of Yandotundaji Emirate on July 16, 2022. When this news came out, other critics feel that it's not possible for the defense minister to give food items to these terrorists. Others feel maybe because of those who have been victimized or those within the capture of the bandits, and that's who these bags of rice are being given. But for the defense minister to be associated with such a story, what's your take? That's the defense minister to be associated with such a story. What's your take on that?
My dear, do not be deceived. Nigeria is gradually becoming Latin America. You know, in Latin America, drug barons, mafia groups are in charge of government. They decide who will be in government and who will not. You pay them protection money for you to stay alive. They became so powerful that government is even afraid of them. No leadership can assume office without their say so. They will use money, they will use violence to deal with that person. So gradually, Nigeria is getting towards that position.
Can you remember when Ado Aliero was turbaned? And Nigerians were wondering why a bandit or a terrorist would be turbaned. And one of the defense or excuse I was giving them was maybe if these individuals are integrated, rather than terrorizing the community, they will protect the community. So those bandits who are following them around, or their gang of persons terrorizing, would rather support and work for the community. But a lot of Nigerians don't find it funny that they turbanned a bandit, or they turbanned somebody who is terrorizing the community, or someone who is known as a terrorist within the community. Now, don't you find it shocking, embarrassing, and disturbing that the defense minister may have given somebody known to be involved in such an activity with 50 bags of rice? On what ground?
The question you should even ask yourself, why should such a man be given defense minister after what happened under his watch in his state? Why should such a person be given defense minister when he could not even defend his own state? That is what is playing out here. Look, you see this terrorism. I pray that this true story will be told in our lifetime. I'm telling you, because the way federal government officials are pampering these people, there is something somebody is not telling us. There is something behind this terrorism, a very ugly story that nobody wants to tell. If not, why should such a thing be happening? And then the man is still in office. Nobody bothered to ask you, nobody will even do anything about it. Even with this revelation, nothing will happen. Esther, nothing will happen. So gradually, terrorists are now deciding what to do. They even give conditions on what should happen, and government will obey. Behind closed doors, they will obey the terrorists. Gradually, we are losing out to terrorists. That is why they can come out and do whatever they want to do and say whatever they want to say, and nothing will happen. You can see where Nigerian state is stating to us. Meanwhile, they will come and tell you nobody is above the law. No, but if that one is on paper, in reality, terrorists in Nigeria are above the law. We have seen it play out. When they talk about this man, they told us it's for security reasons. That at least with it now, he can be able to make sure that this does not happen again. Which is the Tobani, what has happened? Has the thing not increased? No, did it stop? Yes, nobody is having question. Federal government representative was there during the Tobani. They sanctioned the federal government executive, but they did not sanction the governor and other people who even approved the Tobani. So you can see what is going on. I am telling you authoritatively, there is something about this terrorism that nobody is telling us. And I pray that one day the truth will come out. That is, if Nigeria will remain one, if this thing continue, yes, if Nigeria will remain one because of what these people are doing.
We will remain one, Barrister Darlington. That's the hope. That's the idea. To remain one. That's the ultimate.
But you can see how they are being pampered. But when you come over here, when you utter a word over here, they will deploy all the military, all the security agents, they will clamp down heavily on you. But they are pampering these people in the north today. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I have told you that one of the reasons why Rwanda went through what he went through is because of this word, selective treatment. I've been saying it, nobody wants to listen. There's no way there will be happy, there will be peace in a family where you treat your children unequally. That it can never happen. One of the children will turn out to be a rebel and destroy that family.
All right, Barrister Darlington, thank you so much for taking your time to give us your perspective on some of the news headlines that we read out here and giving us an in-depth analysis on that. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
Thank you, my dear.
All right. And that is a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Esther Onwachuku. Happy Good Friday to you. We do hope that you continue to listen to Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Follow us across the social media handles where we get to give you verified news updates, in-depth analysis with quite intellectual individuals helping to share their perspective and give us recommendation on how the politics can move forward. Do have yourself a wonderful day. Up next is Matters with Ikami Judah.